March Madness is officially here, the brackets are set, and the mayhem will be getting underway in just a few short days. This has, for years now, not only been an incredible tournament filled with excitement, but it's also a huge stage for some of the top prospects in the draft to showcase their skills. Things can change a ton based on how the tournament shakes out, but today, we're here to put out a mock draft based on how things currently stand before all the madness unfolds. The order that the teams will be selecting in this mock draft is also based on the current NBA standings, and we'll be running through all of the picks in the lottery. Before we start though, it turns out a good amount of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but it also very much appreciated. Now with that being said, let's begin. Starting things off with the first pick in the draft, the Washington Wizards select Alexandre Sarr from France. We have a new team at the top here, as the Wizards have surpassed the Pistons for the worst record in the NBA, and if they end up getting the #1 selection, I believe that Sarr is a perfect fit for their group. They've got some promising scorers in their rotation at the guard and forward spots, but moving forward, they have a huge hole in the middle and are in desperate need of a big man to anchor their defense. Sarr is already a defensive difference maker and shot blocking machine at 18 years old in the NBL, and his athleticism, switchability, and instincts have been turning heads all season. He's been at the top of these mock drafts for a while for a reason, and he should especially stay there if a team like Washington ends up landing this pick who need a guy like him. Next up, with the second pick, the Detroit Pistons select Zachary Risacher from France. The Pistons are starting to get things rolling with their core of Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Ausar Thompson, and Jalen Duren, figuring things out a bit, but what they are in desperate need of is a connecting piece in that lineup that can space the floor with top shooting ability and who can defend hard, and that's pretty much exactly what makes Risacher a top prospect in this class. He's shooting 44% from 3 in all competitions overseas this year, he's got great size and length for a forward at 6'8", and he has great feel for the offensive side of the ball, even without the ball being in his hands. It's always nice when the best player available is also best for your team, and that's the case here for Detroit and Risacher. Next, with the third pick, the San Antonio Spurs select Rob Dillingham from Kentucky. I'm officially all aboard the Rob Dillingham hype train because the more I watch him, the more impressed I get. He's just such an incredibly dynamic playmaker who can do things with the ball in his hands that very few others are even capable of. His ball handling ability is truly second to none in the college game right now. He's one of the best movement shooters I've seen come through the ranks in a while. His feel for passing and playmaking for others has grown so much as the season has progressed, and on top of all of that, his creativity doesn't even hamper his efficiency, as he's shooting a ridiculous 48% from the field and 45% from 3. The Spurs are in desperate need of a point guard right now to pair with Victor Wembanyama, and I believe this duo would wreak havoc on the league in the near future if they were to pair up. Up next, with the fourth pick in the draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Reed Sheppard from Kentucky. That's right, the impressive pair of Kentucky teammates have both cracked the top 5 this time because while Dillingham brings the flashiness to the game, Sheppard is nothing but business and has seemingly taken his game to another level as of late. He's just such a smart and calculated combo guard who doesn't force the issue, yet can absolutely kill you if you let him get hot. The only thing that has ever really been held against him this entire time is the fact that he's slightly undersized for a 2-guard, and he lacks explosiveness at the degree that other undersized guards have had. But at the end of the day, he's one of the most productive and efficient players in the class, and has the type of game that can improve any rotation right away. The Hornets just traded away Terry Rozier and could definitely use some backcourt help, so the smart thing for them to do would be to grab Sheppard, who does it all on both ends of the floor. Next, with the fifth pick, the Portland Trail Blazers select Cody Williams from Colorado. The Trailblazers' young core is very guard-heavy right now, so bringing in Cody Williams is a good step in the right direction for them, as he is one of the better wing players in this class. He's been very solid as a defender all season long, he flashed some impressive finishing ability attacking off the dribble, and his three-point shot was a lot better than initially advertised, as he knocked down 42% from 3 this year. Some scouts believe there's untapped potential in him as a shot creator with the ball in his hands more, but even if that never comes to be into fruition, his effectiveness elsewhere makes him a strong talent for the top 5 consideration, especially for a team in need of more guys at his position. Up next with the 6th pick, the Toronto Raptors select Nikola Topic from Serbia. Topic has fallen a bit since the last mock draft because he's been injured since early January, and in that span there have been other prospects who have simply impressed enough to move up the board. He's still regarded as one of the best pure point guard talents in this class, with excellent court vision and passing talent put on display nightly when he's on the court, but his knee injury combined with the question marks about his perimeter shooting ability cause a slight drop. The Raptors are another team in need of backcourt help, so the slide ends here as he helps balance out the new-look Toronto squad. Next, with the 7th pick, the Memphis Grizzlies select Ron Holland from G League Ignite. Holland has had a pretty turbulent season coming in as one of the favorites to be the top pick in this year's draft, then dipping a bit early on, but now he's leveled out as a player who realistically should still translate as an impactful scoring threat with the work ethic to buy into in the long run. He's pretty inconsistent shooting the ball from the outside, but he's also one of the best athletes in the class. He plays hard at all times when he's on the court, and he is still scoring about 20 points per game in the G League, so for a Grizzlies team in need of more offensive weapons, he is worth taking a swing on. Up next with the 8th pick, the Houston Rockets, who own the Nets pick, select Matas Buzelis from G League Ignite. Buzelis is another Ignite prospect who has had a turbulent season in the G League, but that was partially due to injuries for him. When he's been on the court, he's struggled with assertiveness at times, and his efficiency numbers are below average overall, but he's always been a prospect that has been viewed more as a long-term investment anyway, and the defensive end is where he's already a positive, as a switchable, long wing defender that rotates well and blocks shots inside. Next, with the 9th pick, the Utah Jazz select Stefan Castle from UConn. Castle is playing for the #1 ranked Connecticut squad, who are probably favored to win the whole tournament this year, and are led by quite a few upperclassmen, so it's not always in the script for him to have a big role in the game, but when he's been called upon, he's answered the bell with whatever the team has needed from him. He's been tasked with defending opposing teams' best players, he's been very solid in secondary scoring and playmaking roles, and while he definitely does need to improve as a three-point shooter, he's checked most other boxes. Up next with the 10th pick, the Atlanta Hawks select Donovan Clingan from UConn. Back-to-back Connecticut players going off the board here, as the Hawks could be in the market for another big man with Clint Capella headed into the final year of his contract. Clingan is one of the best shot blockers in college basketball, holding things down in the middle for the best team in the country, and offensively he has tremendous touch around the basket, making 64% of his shots, so any team in need of an interior defender will look at him as someone that can provide just that. Next, with the 11th pick, the Oklahoma City Thunder, who own the Rockets pick, select Tijan Salon from France. Salon is one of the youngest prospects in this year's class that most view as a bit of a project, but unlike other raw prospects of the past, Salon has already had a discernible skill as a shooter, and at 6'9", that's a combo that can easily be built off of. He's much more of a spot-up off-ball player at the moment, but at just 18 years old, there's a lot to like about the trajectory that he is on right now. Next, with the 12th pick, the Chicago Bulls select Dalton Knecht from Tennessee. Knecht has been skyrocketing up draft boards over the last month or so because, to put it simply, he's one of the best scorers in all of college basketball. He's a 6'6" shooting guard averaging 21 points per game for the SEC juggernaut, shooting the ball 47% from the field and 40% from three. He just put up 40 points against Kentucky a week ago, and if he continues to dominate through March Madness to lead his Tennessee squad on a deep run, he could shoot up even higher, since he's one of the most NBA-ready talents in this draft. Up next, with the 13th pick, the New Orleans Pelicans select Isaiah Collier from USC. Collier's another prospect who entered the year expected to do big things, but he didn't quite live up to the hype. The realistic middle ground is that he is still lottery talent with a knack for making plays off the dribble, both for himself and others, but he really needs to cut back on his turnovers and improve his three-point shot if he wants to take his game to the next level. And finally, the last pick of the lottery goes to the Portland Trail Blazers, who own the Warriors pick, and with it, they select Kyle Filipowski from Duke. Filipowski was hoping to be a one-and-done last year, but a disappointing freshman season brought him back to Duke, and this year, that decision has done a world of good for him. He's improved pretty much across the board, and can now legitimately be viewed as lottery talent as a scorer from inside and out, a versatile big man with good shooting touch and creation skills, and he's also a much improved interior defender to add to it. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below which prospect you're most excited about. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.